Crews are up against several tough challenges while working to restore power to all of those impacted areas.
Queen City News reporter Savannah Rudisell is live along the South Fork of the Catawba River with the latest update from utilities managers. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. We know that line workers from across the U.S., even some coming as far as Canada, are in North Carolina right now trying to help people get their power back on. Some people are now going on almost 3 days in the dark since they lost power from Helene's initial impact here in the Carolinas. At the peak of it, again, it was more than 1 million people without power, and officials with Duke Energy tell us that after that rain was able to stop some of the water starting to recede, getting power back to the main arteries of the community becomes the first priority. And we talked with Duke Energy's communication specialist in our 8 o'clock hour here this morning, and we asked if line crews any of them might be traveling towards some of those areas in western North Carolina still hit so hard after they've been able to restore power to so many already. And he tells us that this is such a historic storm, and that means that almost nothing about this is going to be a simple fix.
Of course, you have to have a good strategic plan for that, because just pouring people into an area isn't necessarily the solution. There are sometimes cases where we're going to have to rebuild the electric grid in those areas because it's literally been destroyed.
Now, they say that by the end of the week, most people should have their power back on, except for people who are in maybe some of the more remote or rural areas or other areas where they say they still have to develop that strategic plan for how to rebuild the grid or how to get that power back on. In addition to the power, the lack of cell service is really causing some worry for people in western North Carolina or those with loved ones in that area. The city of Asheville was able to bring in a temporary cellular satellite, give people a little bit of hope. They say about a couple areas, a couple blocks around that temporary satellite that the city officials have brought in is providing cell service now, but they say that is second to come after more of that power gets back on. We're going to continue to cover the developments here through western North Carolina and all of the impacts that Helene has left on North Carolina as they develop. Reporting live in Gaston County, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, thank you so much, Savannah. The North Carolina National Guard is sharing photos and videos of their response to the damage left by Helene. Right now, over 500 soldiers and airmen have been activated to respond to the western region of the state. Their mission includes moving supplies to cut-off areas and helping with high water rescues. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is traveling to Asheville today along with FEMA and NCDOT officials to tour damage left behind by Helene. Officials are calling the damage there, quote, biblical. 41 people were rescued from one location in Buncombe County. The county sheriff confirms 30 people have died there from the storm. Governor Cooper expects the death toll to continue to rise.
The confirmation process on deaths is long and complicated. You got to make sure you notify family members. I express my deepest sympathy to people who have lost family members and friends to this storm, but we'll work on getting that data reported to the public as quickly as we can.
Emergency officials are urging people not to venture into storm-affected areas because you could be endangering yourself and others.
In South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster is also reporting devastating damage. He says one of the biggest challenges cleanup crews are facing is downed power lines wrapped in all the debris. At the height of the storm, the governor says there were 1.3 million power outages. That number is now around 200,000 as of last night. That's according to NPR.
We haven't seen anything quite like this before, particularly in this part of the state. But it's a devastating blow, but we can make it through. All we have to do when we get that debris cleared, once we get the debris cleared, then we can get in and the filling stations and all the stores, all the things are without electricity, including some of the cell towers aren't working. So we're really in the dark in some places, but it's going to take patience, but we're getting there. We're making steady progress.
Governor McMaster also discussed the rise of Helene-related deaths. At least 91 people across several states have died as a result of the storm. Organizations all across the Carolinas are now stepping up to help their neighbors as people begin the difficult process of rebuilding.
Mike DeCenti with the American Red Cross is joining us to discuss their recovery efforts in Western Carolina. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Great to be here. Now, Mike, we know that there's a lot that goes into this organizing all this help. How's everything going right now with you?
Yeah, things are tough and ever changing. You mentioned some earlier, you were mentioning how this is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Emergency management officials, all the way through government officials, and of course the Red Cross. Although we train for this and we have disaster trained volunteers in place, this is something we haven't seen before. We started mobilizing our volunteers last week, and we had them in place in Asheville. We were setting up shelters for those that were impacted by the storm, but then our workers themselves were impacted. No power, no water, no cellular service. However, we continue to deliver our mission. We set up over 30 shelters working with local emergency and management officials, and we are making sure that people that were able to get to us, people that can still come to us, have a safe place to stay, that they're warm and that they're fed, and we're offering both health and mental health services as well.
And Mike, we keep talking about just how devastating this is. It's not just a 1-2 punch. It's like a 3-4 punch. Not only is the infrastructure down all over the place, like you can't even get to some of these shelters you guys are trying to set up. People don't have food and water. They don't have cell service. The list goes on and on. So how do you even start to try to spread the need around and to get to these people?
You know, that's what we do. We just start and we keep going. We try to do as much as we can every day. I just got off our local North Carolina call at the beginning of every day that kind of lays out what we did overnight and what we're doing today. We will follow the lead of our local emergency management partners as they start going into these communities that we haven't been able to reach yet. As you know, there are over 300 roads closed. As accessibility opens up, we will go with them in our emergency response vehicles. We will bring food. We will bring water. But until then, we are helping those that we have in our shelters now and making sure that they stay safe. But you're right. It's heartbreaking. It's ever changing, but the Red Cross is mobilized. We have hundreds of volunteers in Western North Carolina, hundreds more getting together in Charlotte, ready to go to those areas where we're needed.
Mike, we are running out of time, but we have a lot of folks that are calling and asking us here at the station, how do we help? What do we do? We know we can't drive up there. How do you answer that question? What's the best way for people to help?
First off, thank you so much. This is neighbors helping neighbors. This is what we love about our community. The best, fastest, and easiest way for you to help those neighbors that have been impacted by the storm is to make a financial donation. Because getting supplies to places is not the easiest right now, call 1-800-HELP-NOW, go to redcross.org or text Helene to 90999. That's the fastest and easiest way to get help to those impacted in Western North Carolina.
Mike DeCinti with the American Red Cross, thank you for what you and your team have been doing, what you're going to continue to be doing for quite some time. Keep us posted on how we can help out. Thanks again.
Thanks, gentlemen.
9:10 is the time now. Other state organizations are maximizing all efforts in providing relief for storm victims. That includes the United Way of North Carolina. We spoke with officials at the organization about the work they're doing to help people trying to find loved ones and recover after the disaster.
It is about providing hope at this point for individuals looking for family members, and then the folks that have been able to gain communication in the area. It's really about letting them know that everyone in the country's eyes are on us. Everyone wants to step in and help, and that resources are coming their way, and then letting them know where they can access those resources.
And again, you can go to nc211.org to get help finding a loved one in Western North Carolina. You can also get information by calling that number.
All right, it is 9:16. Welcome back into Queen City News. All morning long, we've been sharing the ways that you can help our Carolina communities in need. Now we're going to be speaking with someone who's running one of those many efforts. Joining us this morning is Doug Jackson, the founder, chairman of Operation Airdrop. And Doug, man, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you. You got the plane right there beside you. First of all, thanks for joining us. Thank you for what you have been doing to help our neighbors in North Carolina. Quickly tell me where you are and what's going on with Operation Airdrop.
Well, Operation Airdrop's in Statesville this morning with a group that's hauling supplies fixed wing out of here. We were also over in Concord, got another base over there doing the fixed wing stuff. And then all of our helicopter operations are coming out of Hickory. I don't really have a full count, but I think there's about 30 helicopters and probably 50 to 100 airplanes is the last count I heard.
And Doug, this is all volunteer pilots, both in the fixed wing and helicopter. Is that right?
100% fully donated. Yes.
Doug, why? Why are you doing this? I know the organization's based out of Texas. Why help the folks here in North Carolina?
Well, number one, it's not me; it's other people. I just heard cats. You know, it's all these other people that make this happen, and it's amazing. I mean, we've done about 13 of these now, all over Florida and North Carolina. We were here during Florence, and then we've been down in the Virgin Islands, Bahamas, Puerto Rico. I mean, you name it. It's crazy how people come out of the woodwork to help this stuff and what they're willing to do.
And what are you guys taking? What are you delivering, and how are you delivering it?
The answer is yes, everything. Anything they need. But if I threw you out on an island today with you and your kids, what would you need? You know, and it's diapers, it's water, it's toiletries, it's first aid kits. Our list really never changes. Insulin, we're hauling solar battery for people to charge their phones, solar panels, you name it.
My gosh, Doug, I know
you see that photo there. I mean,
that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at what you have sent, what you're continuing to send. It's going to continue to move on. And like you said, you're not doing this alone. You're just one of many that are helping with this. You've got a special guest or two or three that are there with you, Doug. Who do you have there with you?
So I think everybody probably knows this guy right here, Carl Edwards.
Hey. How's it going?
We're doing good. By the way, guys, if you're not a NASCAR fan, you should be. Carl Edwards, who was driving the pace car yesterday in Kansas. Carl, good morning. What are you doing there?
Hey, good morning. So North Carolina has done so much for me. The NASCAR community has done so much for me. And NASCAR is represented well here. Greg Biffle, Cletus McFarland, Brad Womble, they're all helping. But for me, it's about bringing these folks, Gideon Rescue Company. I've been inspired by these folks, and I got to introduce you to them. So this is Gideon Rescue Company. And these are the dogs.
Oh, wow.
We know that a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are in need of these dogs to help them find their loved ones. So it's just an honor to be able to serve with them.
What are you guys going to be doing? Are you just helping support them as they load to get on these airplanes, and then they're going to release the search dogs in these areas? Is that kind of the plan?
Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there hasn't been a lot of communication in the areas right now. So first thing would be to come and make an assessment and see what the needs are, and then go to work. We do expect to do quite a bit of searching with the dogs, and they're the real heroes. They're the ones that make it happen and make it work.
Well, thank you guys for being out there, and to all the canines and the dogs. They are absolutely cute. We know they're lifesavers as well. I mean, come on, look at that. They're absolutely precious. Carl, thank you for the surprise visit this morning, and to be our unassigned, unofficial reporter out in the field, moving the camera around. Doug, I want to go back to you quickly because Operation Airdrop, how do people help, right? Because you're delivering things that people need, like you said, in a desperate situation. How do we help?
So go to Operation-Airdrop, operation-airdrop.com if they want to sign up to be a pilot, to be a volunteer. We can use everybody. Let me pan around here a little bit. You can see some of the airplanes that are out here across the ramp that are loading up. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that, but we can use pilots. Any funds that we get, we have no paid staff. Okay, every dollar that we have no offices. We all work from wherever we are. So everything that comes in goes straight back out, 100%. There's other organizations, obviously, that they can help. We're just one, but there's a lot of need up there. I got on the ground yesterday, and I was completely amazed at what's happening over there. I did not know. So they need a lot of help. I don't know what else to say.
Doug, you know, the worst of Mother Nature and the worst that can happen to us can also bring out the best. You know, and I hate what families are going through, but is bringing neighbors from Texas across the country together to work together as one. Thank you to Carl Edwards. Thank you to all the efforts out there with the search and rescue dogs, loading up the planes. Thank you to Operation Airdrop. We will certainly stay in touch with you over the next couple of days and weeks on how we can help. Thanks for your time this morning, and safe travels making all those deliveries. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
AT&T executives are offering help to many customers in the wake of Helene. They say customers in the southeastern United States who have limits on their talk, text, and data don't have to worry about going over. They're allowing unlimited talk, text, and data for those customers for 1 month to allow storm victims to reach their families.
10 to 30 inches of rain has now turned western North Carolina neighborhoods into lakes and debris fields. Look at this video here. Dozens of people are still missing. All roads in western North Carolina should be considered closed as crews start to rebuild.
And that warning issued by the North Carolina Department of Transportation remains in effect for non-emergency purposes and unnecessary travel.
Chief Transportation Correspondent McKay Beeler joining us now. You know, we've been communicating, you've been talking with NCDOT. What do we expect over the next days, weeks, months?
Patience.
Yeah.
And prayers. Yeah, so due to major washouts in certain areas, travelers, be advised you can't get there from here. If you need to drive somewhere in western North Carolina, brace yourselves. The means to get there may no longer exist. Hundreds of roads have been shut down, including dozens of U.S. and North Carolina highways in the foothills and mountains. Parts of I-40 from Statesville to the Tennessee line are closed, impassable due to landslides and downed trees. Our top priority is everyone's safety and well-being. That, according to State Transportation Secretary Joey Hopkins. People still should consider roads in western North Carolina to be closed and avoid travel unless it is absolutely necessary. Priority must be given to all emergency responders, utility and transportation crews, and others who are working hard to help with the lengthy response and recovery effort.
Now, McKay, what are some of the worst challenges that responders are facing right now?
As you can guess, because we can't even believe our eyes, right? Although rescue efforts are going on right now, they are ongoing. They are facing unprecedented challenges. Entire towns wiped out. Concrete bridges washed away. No way in or out of certain areas. No electricity, water, spotty or zero cell phone service. Bridges gone, collapsed into the river. A huge section of I-40 through the mountains at the Tennessee border washed away into the Pigeon River, taking the interstate with it. Drones and aircraft are evaluating the damage in areas not accessible by road. The NCDOT published on X, despite current weather conditions, Helene-related damage is still very much a factor in western North Carolina.
Now, McKay, so many people they're upset, they're anxious. They can't get a hold of their loved ones. They've got maybe vacation homes up in the mountains. They've got businesses up there.
Yeah.
How do they get to them? How do they get up and check on their family?
Well, that's a good question. So right now, just hang tight. Hang tight, because it's going to take a while. Repairs and road openings are going to take probably longer than we can imagine at this point. So according to the North Carolina Department of Transportation, transportation crews, they are working day and night to assess the widespread damage, fix what they can to roads. Now, they are going to prioritize efforts to reopen the interstates, U.S. and state highways first, before getting to state-maintained secondary roads. But the emergency response recovery effort is going to take months, maybe longer, as damage to many roads and bridges, as you see, are very serious. Hundreds of thousands of power outages, limited cell phone coverage, all of that impacting those efforts. So finally, Hopkins said, we are doing everything we can to help North Carolina recover from this devastating storm, but this will be a long-term effort. We need people to be patient and help us with the recovery effort by staying off the roads.
And McKay, we know that people want to get to Western Carolina to see their family and everything else, but what's the best way that drivers can stay informed of conditions once see things fixed?
You know, this is the best website, drivenc.gov. Just go on there. You can see all the closures. You can see where you are, where you need to go, what closures, incidents, weather events there are, and it's updated all the time. It's in real time, so I can't recommend it enough. drivenc.gov. You've also got readync.gov, and of course, our website, qcnews.com.
9:43, welcome back. Business owners in the Queen City are working to help those impacted by Helene.
Queen City News executive producer Janet Parker is joining us to take a look at how people are sending out their assistance. Good morning, Janet.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Owners of Noda Brewing Company have been working since 3 this morning to can water in hopes of sending it to Western North Carolina. The business is preparing to send about 150 barrels, which equals about 1,600 cases of water to the Asheville area. Now, other breweries in the area are also donating supplies to help get those donations ready. They'll continue to do this for the next several days. Earlier this morning, we spoke with business owners about the process and the time it takes to get the water ready.
Just like you're to boil water for pasta, it takes a little bit of time, but then you ratchet that up to the scale of 150 barrels or 37,000 pints. It takes a while to boil that amount of water. And that's what needed to happen for it to be safe for consumption. So we did that yesterday. We stored it in our tanks overnight and are actively, I can hear them down there now, actively working to put that into cans.
Literally working around the clock. Now they plan to continue brewing this water until it's no longer needed and water services become more available in Western North Carolina. Guys?